The night of June 14th, 2017 will forever be etched in London's memory, a night that changed the city forever. Grenfell Tower, a 24-story residential building, became an inferno, a towering blaze that lit up the night sky. Flames, fueled by flammable cladding, engulfed the structure at an alarming speed, spreading with a ferocity that left no time for escape. 72 souls perished, trapped within their own homes, their lives cut short in a preventable disaster. The fire exposed a chilling truth. Safety had been sacrificed on the altar of profit, with corners cut and regulations ignored. In the aftermath, a collective gasp of horror and anger swept through the nation, uniting people in grief and outrage. How could this happen in one of the world's wealthiest cities, a place where such tragedies should be unthinkable? The cries for justice were immediate and resounding, echoing through the streets and across the country. A public inquiry was launched, aiming to unearth the truth behind the tragedy, to hold those responsible accountable, and to ensure such a disaster never happens again. The Grenfell Tower fire was not just a national tragedy, it was a deeply personal loss for hundreds of families. Survivors emerged from the ashes, forever scarred by the trauma. Their voices, filled with grief and anger, demanded accountability. They had lost loved ones, homes, and a sense of security. They recounted harrowing tales of escape, of losing neighbors and friends. Many felt ignored, their concerns about fire safety dismissed before the tragedy. Their demand was clear: those responsible for this preventable disaster must be held accountable. After years of painstaking investigation, the Grenfell Tower inquiry delivered its damning verdict. The report exposed a litany of failures, laying blame at the feet of both corporations and government bodies. Arconic, the manufacturer of the flammable cladding, was singled out for its dishonest conduct. The inquiry also criticized the government for failing to implement adequate fire safety regulations and for ignoring warnings about the dangers of combustible cladding. The report revealed a systemic disregard for the safety of social housing residents, treating them as second-class citizens. Section 4. A glacial pace of justice. Survivors' frustration mounts. While the inquiry's findings provided some measure of validation, survivors and bereaved families felt justice was being delivered at a glacial pace. The slow progress only added to their pain and suffering. Years after the fire, no criminal charges had been filed, leaving many to question the effectiveness of the legal proceedings. The wait was agonizing, a constant reminder of the tragedy and the lack of accountability. Each day without justice felt like a wound that wouldn't heal. Frustration boiled over as corporations implicated in the disaster continued to deny responsibility. Their evasive tactics only fueled the anger and despair of the community. Survivors felt let down by the legal system, which seemed to move at a snail's pace while they were forced to live with the trauma every single day. The lack of swift action made them feel abandoned and forgotten. Section 5. Grenfell's legacy. A catalyst for change. The Grenfell Tower fire stands as a chilling reminder of the devastating consequences of corporate greed and government negligence. The tragedy exposed the deep flaws in the system, highlighting the urgent need for reform in housing safety standards. It has become a rallying cry for change, a demand for safer housing and stricter regulations. People from all walks of life have united, calling for accountability and transparency from those in power. The survivors, despite their grief and anger, have shown remarkable resilience. Their strength in the face of such adversity has inspired many to join their cause. They have channeled their pain into activism, demanding justice not only for themselves but for all those who live in unsafe housing. Their voices have amplified the call for systemic change. The fight for justice for Grenfell is far from over, but their unwavering determination serves as a beacon of hope. Their efforts have sparked a broader movement for housing rights and social justice. The question remains, will their fight be the catalyst for lasting change, or will it be another tragic lesson ignored? Only time will tell if their struggle will lead to meaningful reform and a safer future for all.